So what does he say attunement is? He says attunement is the way we focus on the flow of energy and information in an open and receptive manner. So this is a direct quote from his book, Interpersonal Neurobiology. So let's analyze what that means first, right? We're going to define attunement here, and then we're going to talk about how do we actually do this? What are the pragmatic things that we can do in the moment with the young people we're working with, but also just the training that we can give ourselves over time so that we can attune more naturally, more organically, and build those relationships. So attunement is the way we focus on the flow of energy and information in an open and receptive manner. The circuitry of our own nervous system is such that if we attune, we come to create resonance. So basically what he's saying, this is another direct quote from his book. So basically what he's saying is attuning, first talking about just attuning to ourselves, right? What's going on inside of us is how we direct our attention to our physical sensations, to our emotional subjective state, to our thoughts, right? And particularly when we bring an awareness in the present moment to our breath, for example, or to something in our body, when we do that in such a way to where we're observing the processes that's going on, we then have the ability to attune to what's going on inside of us, right? And when we do that with ourselves, that's kind of internal attunement. And we do that with another person, that's interpersonal attunement. So interpersonal attunement is basically doing that process with somebody else in relationship, right? When we start to learn about, for example, a young person's subjective feelings, let's say they're disclosing something to us that is really, hard for them to talk about or makes them feel vulnerable, right? And when we kind of get into that space with them, that's the intersubjective, right? That's the interpersonal subjective, right? And interpersonal attunement is attuning to or becoming so present and even compassionate in a sense to their experience, to whether that be what they're disclosing, the vulnerable thing, as we just said, or their central nervous system reaction, their neuroceptive response to you. That's what attunement is, right? So, what is the relationship between resilience and self-care? Again, resilience is what's needed when there is a stress. Self-care are the strategies that help over time build that resilience. A very, very simple definition of it is essentially the practice of taking action to preserve one's health over time. That could be your physical health, exercise, it could be your emotional health, it could be your mental health, your social health, your spiritual health, right? Essentially what it is you are intentionally over time practicing self-care or doing activities that facilitate self-care. And over time, self-care strategies that are put in a schematic that are predictable and done routinely over time, that's what builds resilience.